You're still watching Enterprise Friday on Enterprise TV. Now we head straight to our main conversation. The Minister of State for Petroleum, Henneken Lokpobiri, has announced that petrol will be available by the weekend, following a meeting with the Vice President and top officials.
The meeting was called by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu due to concerns about the hardship faced by Nigerians. Lokpobiri urged the citizens to avoid a panic buying, stating that the government does not control prices in a deregulated sector.
He believes that prices will stabilize once products are widely available. The executive director of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Mungo Okwoha, added that regulatory efforts are focused on stabilizing supply, which will positively impact price stability.
And of course, the measures include extended operating hours at loading depot, prompt vessel clearance, and support for local refineries to increase production. The government aims to alleviate the hardship faced by Nigerians and stabilize the fuel prices.
Okay, moving on, we have with us virtually Theophilus Akatuba, who is a public affairs analyst. Good morning and thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be with you, Enterprise TV.
Thank you, sir.
And we have with us in the studio Cyril Abako. He's also a public affairs analyst and commentator. Good morning, Cyril. Thank you for staying with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, Henry, let's get into the main story. And I'll be starting with you, Theophilus. The Minister for Petroleum, Lokpobiri, has said that it is expected that there will be availability of premium motor spirit, otherwise known as petrol, by the weekend. At this point, when Nigerians have heard different promises from the government, including stating that the Port Harcourt refinery should have started producing petrol at this time. And by this time, as of December last year, there was something like this: panic buying, scarcity of fuel. And the government came out to promise that there will be availability of fuel, yet nothing was done. If Nigerians still continue to buy and this have instigated panic buying, who should be blamed if Nigerians don't hold on to the promise of the government?
The government should be blamed. If the government loses the trust of its people because of the failure of repeated policies.
Okay, you can continue.
It means that you won't blame the people always help themselves. So, government should be blamed. I quite sympathize with the government. They are managing a very difficult situation, but they are not transparent enough. The NNPC has failed to be very, very truthful, transparent, and consistent with the truth. So when you make promises to your citizens and the promise made is not coming true, and you don't have very valid acceptable reason, it goes to show the inefficiencies and the corruption and the misbehavior in that sector over the years. Citizens are afflicted inefficiency. No one has been held accountable for these failed promises. Ellen Gary should have resigned long ago because he is the head. Of the NNPC. It's a private limited and it's a public company that really do not suffer consequences for failure. Oh, I feel government must be blamed for.
All right, but I would love to still ask, how comfortable are you with the pump price at over 800 naira? It's about 900 naira. Some stations sell for 1,200 naira. How comfortable do you think that is?
Well, I am not comfortable with the price, but that is the price they are saying, and I'm afraid that price is also not going to be sustainable. The price will still go up. We are talking about a deregulated sector. What we are selling is still below the business and economic sensible price if we are importing the product. If the product is coming from Dangote, we don't know the petrol price in a deregulated economy because the price has to reflect the market conditions. That's what Lokpobiri is trying to communicate. but they're not doing a good job at it because they are deceiving themselves and the people get to the place they are going. They have the cat is out of the bag, the subsidy is gone, market prices. If you look at all the sub-region and global prices, Nigeria from the global market. So we are deceiving ourselves. So the price, I'm not comfortable, but that price is still not sustainable.
Okay, thank you, Theophilus. Cyril Abako, let me get to you. I want to actually state what Lokpo stated. He said, what is important for us to convey to Nigerians is that the president is empathetic about what is going on in this country. And he's concerned about the hardship of Nigerians. And that was why he directed the vice president to call for this meeting. That was the meeting that held yesterday. With the current state of Nigeria and with the economic hardship we're facing, and this comments coming to state that the president is empathetic, is this statement relating with the actions of the president?
Good question. But first of all, even if Mr. President was empathetic, we didn't particularly hire him for his empathies. We hired him to fix the economy. We hired him to give us results. We hired him not to continue with the NNPC's desperado operations in the economy. Because everything we're facing in the oil sector today is inorganic. You see, there are natural problems that happen because of system failures or because they're even expected. Sometimes people create machines and, people, even drug makers say there are side effects if taken in certain circumstances. It's normal. But barring all of those exceptions, that drug is meant to work. Now, why is petrol scarce in the first place? There's no explanation for that.
They stated that because of lack of availability.
And you believe them? Because I've learned not to believe it. So, for the record, what the NNPs, what the Minister of State for Oil, Stevens, I don't believe him. I don't believe him. What has given him the guarantee that there will be petrol available by weekend? People even said yesterday, we were hearing people saying that petrol had come, but Amele Kyari said they shouldn't release it until when he gave the go. On what authority, on what justification is that, if it is even true? That product had come. When we had that scarcity the last time, they said, there's a lot to be said. They said, one, that a lot of refineries in Europe are going to turn around maintenance. But in that same Europe, people are not lacking fuel. It is us who have agreements with them that are lacking fuel. It was a lie. Later on, they said it was because we are trucking and because we are trucking from Lagos to far place. As if all this while we have not been trucking. Then later they said it was because mothership couldn't meet the baby ship or something, one funny excuse. None of these reasons is true. In December last year, they told the mother of all lies. They said that the Port Harcourt refinery was 90% complete. And that the engineers only needed to go on Christmas break. And we should believe that. That after the Christmas break, they will come back. A refinery that is 90% complete till now has not pumped a single drop of fuel. So they've only gone from one lie to the next. And I have to also say again, the Minister of State for Petroleum didn't need to go and meet the Vice President to announce that fuel. We find out this. What they are doing is that they are giving us talking points in the media. They're looking for headlines. Otherwise, NNPC is not even a government-owned enterprise. And I heard the minister saying that now that because of the regulation, that the marketers will ask, what we have to do is re-regulation, not deregulation. You know why? Because you're talking of marketers that will fix the price. Where are those importers? The so-called marketers, where are they getting fuel from? It's not from the NNPC. Sure. The NNPC is the sole importer of petrol into the country. Who fixes price? And the NNPC has gone so bad. They've gone from regulator to including market player, to including price controller, to including marketer. Because they said yesterday that we are going to be buy up all the things that Dangote will be supplying. All right? And that they will be the ones to fix the price. You are stifling the market. That way, demand and supply will no longer work, because the question will be who is demanding and who is supplying. NNPC is demanding, NNPC is supplying. So it means that price will be the prerogative. And I can tell you, I said it on the program yesterday that if we're not careful, this NNPC will collect Dangote's petrol and then tell us that they are paying subsidy on that petrol for Nigeria to access. You watch and see.
Okay, thank you, Cyril. Okay, Theophilus, I want to actually state something that I find quite confusing from the statement released yesterday.
I can't hear you very right.
Okay, can you hear me now? The price could be high in some areas,
I hear you now.
much higher in some other locations, and in some locations, much more than other areas. But we believe that by the time there is availability of products across the country, the price itself will be stabilized. At this point, the government is being, should I say they're being careful, so they don't give Nigerians a promise that they promised or said that the price would actually come down. Because from the look of things from this statement, it is as though Nigerians should brace up to buy petrol higher than 550 naira or 560 naira per liter. Or do you believe otherwise?
No. Exactly what you have said. The government they know the truth, but they are managing about a very difficult situation. They are communicating to you without even the way the words are couched. He said to you, naturally, when you deregulate the economy, you won't buy the product the same price everywhere because it costs different amount of money for product to be delivered to the farthest part of the country from where the product is. So if you have a refinery in Imo State, those who live around should get product cheaper from that refinery. If you get product imported and they land in Lagos, Lagosians should get better prices than those in Warri. Right now, the prices in Warri, in Anambra, in Edo, they are higher than Lagos prices. Because the products arrive in the Lagos port and they are. So the statement of the minister regarding price differentials in places, that is true. It's only someone who wants to deceive himself that will mislead himself and say, really? Inside is promising that prices will stabilize. Does not mean going up and down with the volatility will be reduced. With the availability of price, of course, there will be less volatility, there will be less advantage taken, there will be different at lesser than the 800, and you won't get it the same price across the country. So the same thing happened all over the world. Petrol prices are not the same across any geographical or any country for that matter. It's determined by cost of moving the product from place to place. Nigerians must learn that with the removal of subsidy, because we all voted for the removal of subsidy. We voted Tinubu campaign for removal, Obi campaign for removal, Atiku campaign for. They are all saying we would have done it differently, but that's another matter. The fact is, removal of subsidy means that we will pay the full cost and leave a profit for the businessman who is doing the petrol business. And this is what you are saying. So I don't have any reason to want to doubt or believe it. I know what is true, and I know what he knows, and I know what he's saying. Only those who want to be deceived or who are only hoping for what will never be, that we now say they have been deceived.
Now, very true. Of course, I agree with your submission 100%. But let's look at the facts here. When you look at the sub-Saharan Africa, Togo, for example, sell a liter of fuel for 1,832 naira. Ghana, 1,779 naira. And Benin, 1,594 naira. But the difference between these countries and ours is the fact that they have a regular electricity, the infrastructures are working, education is awesome, healthcare is perfect. Of course, might not be 100%, but close to perfect. So an average citizen of such countries don't even bother himself how much a fuel of PMS is. But in Nigeria, our life is centered around the PMS. If you don't have PMS, you can't run your little small or medium-sized factory. So why should we justify this subsidy is gone statement by the president, knowing that we don't even have the infrastructure to back that up?
Yes, I agree with you. It's been a very difficult situation for all of us as a country. We have been paying subsidies for many years. These countries you mentioned have done away with the subsidy many years, realized all these other infrastructure. We want the infrastructure stabilized, whereas all of the money is going for the subsidy, and the government is left without enough money. And we're all seeing the little that is left is even being stolen by politicians. So our problem became compounded. We delayed the process, we delayed the time, we wasted all our resources in paying subsidies for even Togo, for Benin Republic, for Chad, for Niger, because most of our petrol were going to those countries anyway, because once you subsidize it, it creates a very good profit margin for anyone who wants to do the business. So you see, so we have to, President Tinubu removed the subsidy just a year ago. It's too early for us to say all of these infrastructures will have come together by now. Or if you ask him to go and get the infrastructure first, he said, I don't have the money to do so. When I try to borrow, they tell me you are using the money. What you are looking for from me is what you have used to pay subsidy. You don't look like a man who should borrow money because you are a foolish man. You are wasting your money in subsidizing a product that you can do without subsidizing.
But obviously we still subsidize today now, isn't it?
Tinubu went straight to the jugular. So Tinubu went straight to the jugular to be able to conserve money to do that. That is what he didn't want to use the old style. You say, go and do the infrastructure. Buhari tried to use that strategy. We end up in huge debts, printed money all over the place, and he kept the subsidy, and he kept protecting the currency of 1.5 billion. And the country came down to his knees. And we say his government is the worst in the history of Nigeria.
He's talked about President Tinubu going for the jugular and taking the bull by the horn. But of course, we're still paying subsidy. Before now, subsidy payment used to be about 3-point-something trillion. Now it's doubled. So what are we saying? 1 step forward, 10 steps backward. Is that the solution?
So clearly we have failed.
Not we. There's the federal government, just before Siri. Federal government, from the record, has no budget for subsidy. It was the NNPC that Tinubu sent forth to be the guinea pig. NNPC, a private company, was withstanding and absorbing it. Now it nearly collapsed a few days ago. and they ran away.
Yes, so clearly. And because the NNPC, even when we say that become a private company, is owned by the Ministries of Finance and Petroleum, and only goes to tell you why the Vice President could summon a meeting and had Lokobiri attend yesterday, which was where the NSA was there, the Minister of Petroleum himself was there, NSA Ribadu. The VP summoned them to come for a meeting. So there is something fishy that we're not being told. And yes, whether it is NNPC or federal government, subsidy is clearly still being paid. Because at the time we sunk the Naira, or as they say, they floated Naira, but the Naira sunk. And today now, the Naira is about
1,639 Naira.
Where are you getting the shortfall from? How are you paying all the landing cost issues? Because it means that the cost for bringing a barrel or a liter of petrol into Nigeria has risen. So what you see, and you see this price will continue to rise. It went from 5 something, just some 2 days ago when the price rose to 897 Naira per liter. Nobody is willing to own up to being the reason for giving the what's it called, the authorization for the price to rise. But the price rise was occasioned by the NNPC filling stations. Can they say that they're not aware of it? Day 1, day 2, day 3, I'm arguably going to day 4. If you didn't give the authorization for your stations to raise the price of fuel, what have you done about curbing it? Nothing. We're now buying fuel.
But it's obvious they can curb it because they said it's determined by forex exchange.
That's what I'm saying. So we are there now. It means we're there. What we must do to reverse this rot is very easy and simple. Good. Maybe when the president has come back, because that's when I believe we have to do anything really meaningful. When the president has come back, he should call these people back to a meeting and tell them that if they are going to deregulate, the uncertainty around Dangote's refinery should be taken away, because there's no certainty. It is government that is imposing uncertainty on Dangote. There's no certainty there. The man was producing his petrol, whether for good or for evil, maybe not even for the Nigerian market, because he's in a free trade zone, right? But if you are the same people that said they couldn't give him crude, now saying that they're going to buy everything he's producing, they should get this politics out of the table and run this thing as it should be run. If he's producing if you can get him to produce for the local market, in addition to those who will be importing without the NNPC being in their way. So that way, if the market is glutted, that is when market forces will indeed determine how much a liter of petrol will be sold for. Open up the market completely and if you want to be a player, be a player. Don't be Today you are a player, tomorrow you are a regulator. And your regulation is not even to be a banana regulator. You are there to regulate, you're there to stifle competition and tell who does what.
But don't you think opening up the market would make us start buying fuel? Because the detail, the statistics is right here. Togo buy for 1,839 naira to the liter. Ghana 1,594. Benin 1,700. So don't you think opening up this market without without an authority checkmating this would allow Nigerians equally go through this route?
No, so now we are buying petrol at how much? 8,000 plus.
8,000, yeah.
8,000 plus, good. Because one, there's scarcity. Scarcity that is caused by the NNPC, not because there's no petrol to be sold. So the way NNPC goes to bring in refined petrol from, let's say, Belgium or Turkey, let three of us have license to go. You go to Russia, I go to Ukraine, you go to America, and all of us are bringing fuel in. The first thing is that the price will come down. And Dangote is also produced for the Nigerian market if he wants to do so. So as all of us bring our products into the market, the price will not. We did it with telecoms when they first come out to the market. Was in 1 second was 1 minute, and about that was 1 second 1 minute was 50 naira. The moment somebody brought per second billing, what happened? Everything crashed. In fact, right now we take this for granted in Nigeria. So let the same thing happen. NNPC cannot be the sole importer of petrol. This is criminality in a supposedly capitalist economy. You are deregulating, yet you are re-regulating. Take your hands off of the market, and then let's see what happens.
Okay.
Because 2 or 3 weeks ago, the NNPC, there was an NNPC who was complaining that some outlets were selling petrol for as much as 1,000 per liter, that they are going to close them down. Which means it was all a lie. Because those supposed that we are buying petrol from people who bought from NNPC for 850 per liter. Was NNPC not aware of this? Why put the blame on the filling stations? Now, some weeks later, they said it was market forces. The lie couldn't be true, that it was a lie.
Okay, thank you, Cyril. Last day, as we take this from Theophilus, this would actually have, or is already having a strong effect on our economy. And our president just went to China to meet with Xi Jinping to bring in investment. And he stated that he's a performer and a reformer. Do you see Nigeria getting more investors or our economy being able to go above this particular struggle we are in now to move to a better stage? Or do we see investors' window being open for more investors to come into the country?
The first thing is government must prepare to receive investors by giving proper orientation and reorientation to citizens. If a country is not welcoming, investors will not feel comfortable. The judicial system needs to be reformed. Citizens who want to bring their resources here so that in case they run into difficulty, the system will not victimize them. If you listen recently to the British who was accused of sedition, this man is being victimized by somebody who, that was what the wife said. Now,
yes.
That has a capacity to scare investors. Because if you leave Nigeria to Ghana to go and invest, and you notice that if somebody offended the system, the lawyers are even speaking directly to bribery, you will be scared. So Nigeria has a big problem. Nigeria is not a welcoming country. The Chinese are a bit more resilient. They are not, as Americans have seen through the data, that Nigeria is not an investment destination. But Chinese and the Indians, they have the same orientation like us. That's why you see Xi Jinping said to Tinubu, to the African country, that we are developing. He described himself as we're experiencing here. So Chinese people appear to be the most attractive place for Tinubu to go and woo for quick wins, because they can quickly set up something. And this man that came to do farming and got a lot of harvest in Yan. It tells you that that's a good place. But are we ready for the investors as citizens? Nigerians are very inhospitable. We don't take pride in our station system. It's not very, it doesn't bring comfort to us, not talk of foreigners. So we have a lot of work.
All right.
There's too much crisis. Have a lot of work to do. I believe we need investors urgently so that we can employ our people. Women are into prostitution. There's a lot of challenge. So I hope that investors will couple gas and electricity. Nigeria is a big market, an attractive market, viable market, but we need to put all these things right.
All right. Thank you so very much. So just before we, of course, drop our anchor, Cyril Abaku, the old saying, Jack of all trade, the master of none. Do you think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should resign his position as a substantive Minister of Petroleum?
I could scream that you read
As
my
a
mind.
petroleum minister?
Yes, Minister of Petroleum Resources.
I think Theophilus thought it was his
I
question.
don't office because of the fact that. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Just that we're having some glitch here. Technical glitch. And
I believe that that oil sector is the heart of the economy of the government and the nation. The president wants to hold on to it so that he can have an eye on it. I have no quarrels with him. Where Goodluck Jonathan gave it to Desiani, we know the story that happened today. We heard of the stories of the time David West and all other ministers who presided in that ministry. The reality of the matter is that many presidents feel this country may end up embarrassing him and then making his government very challenging and difficult to run.
Yeah, thank you, Theophilus.
Yes.
Okay, can you just wrap up with that?
Yeah,
sir?
well, I differ with Mr. Katugba's entry on that. America is the world's biggest defense supplier. But Biden, Trump, none of them have ever been minister as Secretary of Defense. Yes. The fact that the president himself is directly minister of, and all of these are happening, it clearly shows that formula isn't even working. So let's get a proper technocrat. Lokobiri isn't a technocrat. Get a technocrat to run that place. And run this government by taking the advice of those who know better than you do. That's leadership. So the president will do us a world of good by firing Mele Kyari and getting somebody who can clean the Aegean stables and then getting the proper technocrat to also man the Minister of Petroleum. Look, Nigeria is not difficult to govern. There's a lot you can achieve in 90 days if you mean to achieve anything meaningful. So let's do that and hope that things get better.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Yes. All right, so that's just about the time we have today. We'd love to say thank you, Theophilus Akatugba. Thank you so very much. We truly do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure being with you. And
A very big thank you to Civil Abako.
thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, so people, this is just about the time we have for our program. We'd love to say thank you to you. Most importantly, wherever it is you're watching from around the world, we truly do appreciate your time. But please do well to see us and visit us at enterprisetvnews.com and also like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwebike.
And I'm Choma Okoye.
On behalf of the entire team of Enterprise Television, thank you, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.